got a little bit too early. He didn't quite know what his opponent had, and he's got a lot of units. 76 Zerglings, 12 Banelings, 2-2 is on the way, and Aspire is about to finish, and that's going to be 13 Mutalisks and a +1 upgrade by the looks of it. You can't complain. That's not bad. That is not bad at all. Hope's in a really good spot right now, honestly. The Terran player does have a lot of units coming out, don't get me wrong, but he's going to have to fight on a lot of creep against Banelings, so we're going to have to see some really, really good splits here from Major to deal properly with that. He has no tanks. He's all Marine. All Marine, which is not ideal against a Baneling-heavy composition, as you're well aware, but I assume that he knows about the Spire play. Drop comes down, takes out yet another Overlord, which is going to be pretty annoying. He knows about the double evolution chamber, and generally speaking, that will lead into Mutaling Baneling play, so he is aware of that. But a lot of Marines is still not going to help you against a large amount of Banelings, and there's still a lot of gas available here for Hope. He can get more Banes if he needs them. Widowmine's on the way. Now that will help. 3 at a time. He's already got 7 on the field, and Drilling Claws on the way too. So that could be enough to deal with this. It depends how good Hope is at engaging with Widowmines. The Widowmines can either be really effective against this style or completely worthless. Drop comes in from Major here. And there's a Queen and some Lings to clean this up, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem. Yeah, that should be a pretty easy cleanup there. These Lings are, of course, nicely upgraded with the 1-1. They're about to have 2-2. They weren't quite enough to deal with this, though, so a couple of drones are probably going to go down to this, but not too bad. There's a Widowmine in the back, which is a little nasty. That's about 3 killed there, and then the big push comes in from Major here as well. The Mutalisk count is at 14. It's not enough to fight what he's got. More Lings now streaming in to try and clean this up. Gotta watch out for them Widowmines. They've actually do more damage to the Terran Force than anything else, and he knows that. Major unburrows, reburrows, looks to try and target them. Oh, the Banelings! Oh, wow. That is a lot of Banelings that just went down there. And this is going to get cleaned up, but that was still pretty costly there. But, oh, I think with these medevacs going down, I think that's definitely a win there for the Zerg play. He takes out half the medevac count as well. That Marine-heavy composition gets just obliterated. Hope is looking good right now, and now he's got harassment potential. He is sitting comfortably on 4 bases. Another drop comes in, though. Major with a big double drop with the Widowmines. So he wants to economically harass his opponent. He actually has the worker lead now, if you can believe that. Lings come in, and the detonations come in as well. Of course, that kills a bunch of Lings, but it also kills a bunch of the Terran units. So he does need to get the clear. Oh, that was fortunate. That could have hit the mute account, and it didn't. Now he can clean this up, but some wild play coming on right here from Major. I'm not entirely convinced it's the most efficient ever, but it certainly seems to be doing the damage. Another drop comes in right there. The economy of Hope is taking significant losses here. Mute account is still pretty good. I think it needs to rise even more, honestly, and that's what he's looking to do. 2-2 is now done, but it's done for the Terran player as well. 3-3 is on the way, and 3-3 Marines will absolutely devastate those kind of Mutalisk packs, so he's got to watch out. Queens kill these so slowly that they might be ready to fire again by the time that it happens. And we're going to see a drop to support it as well. Down goes one, down goes the other. The Queen's going to die now, and we're also going to see a fairly ravaged mineral line. The Lings now coming in to try and deal with that as quickly as possible, but we are actually already seeing 8 in there, and oh, he's siphoning them in one at a time. I don't know what he's doing there. That's a mistake. He's a little bit too busy with the pressure that's going on over here. Yet more Banelings try and connect, and they don't connect that well, frankly. And now Major's in a pretty good spot. He's had good Widowmines. He's had good engagements. This was... I'm not really sure what Hope was doing. I think he just had his multitasking stretch. He was sending in Lings to their death 3 at a time, which is not good at all. And now his economy has taken significant damage. We're seeing damage on the Queens there as well, and a lot of units thrown away. Army supply is now pretty equal, honestly, and we're seeing a 4th base down. For the Terran player, he's about to have a planetary fortress there. He's pushed right towards the Zerg player, saying, you know what, I'm not afraid of you. And I suppose we're now going to have to see just how effective these mutas are. Against 3 turrets? Not very, is the answer. Not very. And the Marines come in to sight down a couple more as well. Not ideal. Another base is cancelled down here too. And quite frankly, Hope is being stretched pretty thinly by Major right now. He had some good initial fights, but now Major is very clearly ahead. Looking for the interception there on that drop, and he's able to get a full medevac out of that, so that's a nice little equalizer, but it's still not enough. Army supply is 114 to 86. A 3-3 is about to be done, so these mutas are about to be basically useless in a main fight, which is unfortunate, and this forward base is completely covered. You can't even do a flyby here because it will be hit by this missile turret, so it's difficult. It's very difficult right now for the Zerg player. Major looking really good. once 3-3 kicks in, this force is going to be an absolute powerhouse. Bear in mind that Hope never went up to Hive Tech. He's been stuck on Lair, which means he's going to have an upgrade deficit, and he's going to be muta-heavy against Widowmine 3-3 Marine. I mean, it could not be any worse. Maybe if there were 10 Thors with 3-3 upgrades as well, maybe then it would be worse. But this Mutalisk count is going to be pretty useless against the army his opponent's got. He's relying primarily on Banelings. Another engagement comes in, and he takes out a lot of the Widowmines at the front, which is pretty good. But honestly, the Banelings didn't trade all that well, and there's still a lot of Marines, which is the big risk here. And now that fourth base is going to die, and a drop comes in as well. Gets cleaned up eventually by the Mutalisk count, so he keeps the Lair alive at least, but a fourth base goes pop. And he's not even mining from this. It's mostly mined out. This is getting mined out as well, so the Zerg player's under a lot of pressure. Hope actually has enough units to just go in right now, and that's exactly what he's going to do. He has skimped on his upgrades for his Mutas, though, and I think if he runs into Marines at all... Oh, wow, is he dropping below that? That is a very risky maneuver. I'm very surprised that he elected to do that. That's almost suicide. But there's a Widowmine under there somewhere. Oh, what? Everything's dying. Oh... Man, if he'd been able to get the Widowmines down, that may have killed that completely, but actually I felt that went in the direction of Hope. He lost maybe 6-7 Mutalisks, but he killed a significant chunk of his opponent's army. If that had been full of Widowmines, or he'd got the Widowmines down earlier, that would have been an absolutely devastating move, but as it stands, it was suicidal. Hope is still behind, though. Very much so, and I think Major knew that. It's like, you know what? Look at my production. Just look at it. Look at my macro. How much money am I getting? My income is astronomically higher than yours. I got more than double what you've got. I am in a perfect position to make those inefficient plays because I know your army is mutas. That's it. You have got Mutalisks against 671 3-3 Marines. Any direct engagement for you is going to be absolutely disastrous, and I know that. And he's taking yet more damage from the missile turrets. The mutant count's down to 14 right now, and this could be the game-ending push here. Major is maxed out, and Hope definitely doesn't have much, I'm afraid. In comes that engagement with the Banelings. He needs phenomenal connections, and he's not going to get them. Absolutely not. Major's taking maybe a bit more damage than necessary, but it doesn't matter. GG. No hope, I'm afraid. And Major pulls his adopted team 3-1 ahead. That was excellent. Hope had a really good early game, but he never managed to turn it into anything. He couldn't transition out of it, and he wasn't able to get up to Hive Tech and actually get his upgrades going and then bring Ultralisks into the mix. Couldn't do anything. Stuck on that low tech against 3-3, BO9, you're pretty dead. I gotta say. Nicely played there by Major. Very, very, very powerhouse play. What can I say? Alright, let's see who they send out next. I think at this point it kind of has to be Vortex, honestly. Maybe they send Hazuobs, but I think they've got to send Vortex out at this point. Let's see if that is the case. We'll find out after the break. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are going back into this series, and it looks like they're actually going to send out another Protoss player, so here we go. Let's see how he does. His name, ladies and gents, is Mousesports Hazwobs. He is in the red trunks, and he is playing Protoss to the northwest of Belshire Vestige right here, versus his opponent to the southeast position. It is 2 kills in already, Mr. Major, who is actually playing for Team Complexity right now, but he is currently teamless. He is a mercenary for the team. A ringer, as you would say. But rightfully so, he's allowed to do that. They are absolutely allowed to do that in the rules. They can take 1 Joker player, and they're pretty glad it's Major right now because he's just taken out the STC. He took out Mana, and he took out Hope. So he's doing pretty well, and now he's going to face Hazwobs. Hazwobs been rock solid. His performance in Season 2 of WCS Europe was very impressive, gotta say. And he is, of course, one of the longest-serving Mousesports players, and a veteran of the StarCraft 2 scene. Formerly a Warcraft 3 player. Pretty damn good at it, too. So, let's see how he does. I'm a little... Well, I'm a little surprised that we're seeing proxy racks right here on 11. It's double. This is 11-11. I mean, it's as classic as it gets. He's looking for a really early end to this. One, I'm kind of surprised that it didn't send out Vortex, frankly, because, honestly, you want maybe the opportunity to bring back Lucifron as your ace, or maybe you want a double Vortex, for instance, but he missed it. He missed it. He had no idea. Proxy 11-11. Oh, old school as it gets. Oh, I guess it's good that Hazwobs says he's going Nexus first. He's going Gateway, but like even that's going to be difficult to hold. It really depends on whether or not he gets a Sentry out early. A Zealot's not going to be enough to deal with Proxy 11-11. The Scout's going to come in. It's going to take a little bit of time. He's going to spot nothing. And I think based on if he counts the number of SCVs, he's going to know exactly what's happening here. It may not even be enough to stop it. There's already a Marine in the base. As the Scout comes in, Hazwobs confirms, oh, damn. Actually, that's not a Marine. That's an SCV. Chrono Boost comes in. And he's going to try and maintain high ground vision by the looks of it. And Major is just going to wait. Is he going to try and bunker him? I mean, it seems unlikely, but... Alright, let's see where it goes. SCV production has resumed here, so... It's definitely pressure. That's now being scouted here. 3 Marines, 2 SCVs on the way up against 1 Zealot. There are no sentries available here. That's perhaps the most important thing. But there is a Mothership Core. This build is less effective now as a result of that, which is why I'm kind of surprised that he's going for it. Bunker now going up on the high ground. Of course, once Photon Overcharge is put into play, this push will be shut down. So this seems like it's more of an economic opening, as weird as it sounds. Proxy 11-11 being economic? Yeah, because it forces your opponent to pull a lot of probes off, forces them to build an early Mothership Core. Photon Overcharge is actually like a good number of seconds away from happening here. And a lot of probes are going to be killed by this. The bunker gets stopped, admittedly, but even then... I mean, look at the amount of probe damage that's been done. He's already equalized, and he could go even further than this. There's now enough Marines just to end the game. So there you go. I think this is going to be a very, very early end here. I don't, unless there's some incredible surround, I do not see any circumstance where Hazwobs gets out of this. He has already been absolutely devastated by this attack. There are more Marines on the way. There is a single Stalker in the Mothership Core remaining. Photon Overcharge is not ready yet. The timing was actually very good. The last of the probes are about to be hunted down. And this is going to be a very, very swift 4-1, I feel, for Major. 5 probes left. The rest of them have been hunted down. There are no probes. No probes remaining. 1 comes out and is instantly shot at. Photon Overcharge is going to be the only thing which drives this army away, and there's only 1 probe on the map. So maybe Hazwobs elects to kind of drive it forward a little bit, but the Mothership Core's now been driven away. It can't get... He knows that the risk is that it gets to the Nexus. If he prevents that from happening, there is no possibility of Hazwobs coming back in this. There really isn't any way. Like, he has been devastated. Major would have to leave his computer. He would have to leave for 5 minutes, come back, then resume playing, and even then, Hazwobs would still be behind. And the Mothership Core gets the Photon Overcharge on, so that's going to kill the remainder of the Marines, but it's 2 probes. 2 probes. All of the Marines are going to die, but it's 2 probes. There's still 4 Marines, and that Stalker is in a bad position as well. That might end up dying too. Man, if Hazwobs gets out of this, it will be the most miraculous comeback I've ever seen. It's highly unlikely. Hazwobs' control, pretty damn impeccable here. But, let's be frank. Let's be honest. Major is way in the lead at this point. Hazwobs is a tough cookie for staying in this game. I've got to say, but he is so far behind. That Mothership core now does not have the energy for another photon overcharge. It is now time for Major to march in and win the game. I'm not going to pretend there's even a possibility of Hazorbs living at this point. No way. It can't be done. Absolutely not. Stalker takes yet more fire. The remaining probes will be driven away here. Those remaining Marines come in as well. The Stalker Micro has got to be absolutely amazing. And it isn't. All the probes go down. A single probe is all that's left. He has no money to build another. More Marines come in. This is going to be a GG. No possibility of survival. Down goes the last unit. Hazorbs complains about lag, and then GG. I have a feeling he may have been joking around just a little bit there. That was a clone of what the STC said, so it was all in good humor. Major obliterates his opponent. Utterly destroys him. Wow. Impressive. Very impressive. It's 4-1. It is 4-1. Who do Acer Teamstory Cup send out? Who do Mousesports sent out now in the Acer Teamstory Cup? It's gotta be Vortex now, surely. You don't send out anyone else in this situation. Major is destroying everybody you have. You have got to send Vortex out. Let's see. We will find out after this break. It looks... We'll probably go back into the European server for this, but let's see how it goes. My oh my. Major on a rampage. Let's see if it can keep it going. Alright, ladies and gents, welcome back to the Acer Teamstory Cup, the potential ace match coming on right here. Match point for Complexity, who are currently ahead 4-1. And of course, unfortunately for Mousesports, they do not have Vortex available because he is currently in the air. He is flying to the US for the WCS Finals, which is why they haven't sent him out today. That's an awkward spot to be in, because Vortex is definitely their most powerful player right now. Is Mana capable of beating Major? Absolutely. No question. But is he capable of beating the rest of Complexity? That's a different matter entirely. Will he be able to pull this off? He is way behind. He has got a lot on his shoulders, but he is a veteran. Let's see if he can do it. Here we go, folks. Newkirk Precinct will be the venue for today's encounter between Mr. Major, or Senor Major, as we like to call him. He is in the blue trunks, and he is playing Terran to the southwest of Newkirk Precinct versus his opponent to the southeast position, Mousesports Mana, in the red trunks playing Protoss. Mana put up a good performance against STC. I felt he was a little timid, but that's Mana in a nutshell. Mana never attacks. I think perhaps the best way to say is that Mana is never timid. He attacks precisely when he means to, which is very, very late, unnecessarily so. He's a very, very cautious and safe player. And that has cost him games in the past, but it's also won him games in the past. So you cannot argue with that style. His record speaks for itself. However, I think he could have put the nail in the coffin of STC much, much earlier and exploited that really great timing window that he had. Regardless, he's a very solid player. But I am concerned that he may not be able to beat Major. Major already beat him once before. And we're going to see a gas first play here from Major as well. Aggressive. Very much so. Could be Cloak Banshee. Maybe not ideal against Mana, because Mana has a tendency to go one Gateway Robo, but you never know. We'll see. This could be something else entirely. We already saw that Major has a great variety of builds. Like, he is well-rounded. You've got to admit, he is a well-rounded player. He's beaten all 3 races in this particular series so far. He's done so with Macro. He's done so with Cheese. He is capable of doing both. He is a very competitive player. He trained for an awful long time in the Team 8 house. I've got to say, Major is one of the most impressive foreign players, and he's showing it today. He really is. As to whether or not there is a player on Mousesports that's kind of the caliber of Major, I would say Mana probably is up to that kind of scratch. Lucifron right now, maybe if you'd asked me 6 months ago, I would have said Lucifron is the equal to Major, no problem. But right now, Lucifron he's suffering a few problems. I mean, a lot of foreign Terrans are right now. Major seems to be thriving. I've got to say, I'm impressed with his play so far. So Major's scary. He's a very scary opponent. But he may be the scariest that Complexity has to offer. He may be the scariest. Complexity does not have a big, heavy Korean lineup. They're actually very much a North American-focused team. They do have a Korean player in the form of the STC, who actually lives in the Axiom house in South Korea. They do have other players they could rely on. Can Sasquatch beat him? Yeah, maybe. There's a possibility there. Could QXC beat him? Yes, maybe, on a good day. QXC is really great, especially with TBT. But Major is a difficult opponent to bring down. And I don't even think we need to be concerned about who's coming next, because Major may just win this outright. We'll see. But Mana's got a very big mountain to climb ahead of him at this point. Okay, so what is this? It's either going to be some kind of weird Widowmine thing, or it's going to be Hellions. Like, straight into early reactor Hellion. I wonder if he decides to go mech here. He might. It's unlikely to be Widowmines. There we go. It's going to be Hellions. Okay. It's not bad. This is a pretty good map to do it on, especially if you want to harass the natural, because walling this off with force fields is very difficult to do. And, of course, there are no sign of any sentries coming out whatsoever yet. Mana has scouted. Mana has also seen the gas. And Mana knows about the factory coming down. So he expects something. Maybe he expects Banshees. But bear in mind, this is not going to be a big all-in here from the Terran player. The Terran player is expanding. He's going for it's a slightly earlier Reactor Hellion expand. Yeah, Reactor Hellion expand was really standard in Wings of Liberty. Very popular, especially against Zerg. But this is a bit earlier, because the gas came down first. And now it's going to be Widowmines following it up. So, this could be a little tricky to deal with. No mother... Well, there is actually a Mothership Core, I was going to say. Marine comes in and actually sees the Mothership Core making its way into the main base, which is actually going to take out both Marines. Is going to be able to go at the probe line, because it's only producing one Marine at a time. This is kind of going to suck for him. The Hellions do make their way in, though. Not that much damage done as of yet. 3 probes killed. Let's see if we can get any more. 4 probes. Great control so far here. This Stalker's doing nothing right now. And he's wasting a lot of mining time, too, here as well. One of these Hellions finally taken down. Maybe he gets one more probe out of this, or maybe he just tries to escape. Wow, Mothership Core recalls. He was actually so scared of taking more damage than that. I gotta say, 5 probes for a Hellion, not too bad. The Mothership Core kills a couple of Marines in the main base, but that's really about it. And now Major actually is changing around again. He's playing a little bit of musical chairs here. He's going for a double expand and going into a factory with a tech lab here. Might see a bit of tank play coming out here from him. Now Widowmine's moving in, and there is an Observer coming out. As I said, against Mana, Widowmine's maybe not the best choice, because he's very good at dealing with them, but it can still be difficult, even with an Observer. One Widowmine goes down, a second Widowmine is making its way into the base. There's only one Observer, it's got to choose where it wants to go here. But I think he's going to lose that one. He's not going to lose the one that goes into the mineral line, though, that's for sure. He might even be able to borrow the second. And the detonation... Oh! Ho, ho! Oh no, Mana! That was nasty. 14 workers killed total now. That was... Oh. Even as a Terran player, that makes me wince. He's not going to get away with that, surely. Actually, he might. Yeah, he's going to get away with it. Trading that for a Widow Mine, that was a devastating mine hit. Very, very good play there by... I think, I wouldn't necessarily call it a good play by Major. It was pretty good because he kind of played around with his opponent. He borrowed one here to force the Observer to stay, which allowed the second one to get a bit further ahead than it should have been able to. Then he unborrowed, and then he pushed forward, and it's like, who do I shoot? Who do I shoot? I'm on a timer here, and Mana wasn't able to deal with it, but then Mana pulled his probes, but he pulled them in a bad direction. You've got to really split your probes against mines, and he pulled them all in this direction right here, as I'm showing with the mouse, which resulted in the mine firing in that direction as well and killing a bunch, so... Mana takes a significant hit. The economic lead now for Major is staggering. He has 3 bases up, and he's going to be able to triple Mule here, and he's got tanks and Marines. Frankly, for Mana here, I think, like, when behind Go Dark Shrine in this position, like, he has lost so much already in this game. Major has done so much damage and gained such an economic lead. That lead is only going to grow. He has got to do something. What can he do? What can he do from this position? He doesn't really have anything tech-wise. He's making +1 armor, which is indicative that he wants to go pretty Zealot heavy. And he's got a Robo and a Gateway, and is... No. Surely not. Ladies and gentlemen, we are seeing 1 Gate Colossus